Hey y'all, welcome back. We are season 3, episode 2. But guess what? There's a twist to this one tonight. Kevin, what are we doing?
What are we doing? We are having a crossover with the Mush Squad Podcast. Our buddy Joe Mack, you guys know him from our wrestling episodes. His partner is away. Shout out to JG, and he wanted to run the Mush Squad Podcast. So pretty much, he asked me and Merritt to jump on, and I would say, Merritt, we had a hell of a time, man.
Oh God, that was, like you said, I think that was some of the most fun we've had in a while. Granted, recording the podcast with Kevin is always fun and with the other guys, but Joe Mack just brings it to a new level every time you're on there with him.
Yeah. You gotta love it. So stay tuned for that one, guys. It's gonna be a good one. Coming up shortly.
Yeah. So we're still gonna do our quick little intros and all that fun stuff. So Kevin, what are you wearing? Because you mentioned it, you do mention it on the pod that these guys will be listening to, but what are you wearing tonight?
Yeah. So I think for the next couple, I have just been accumulating these hoodies of supporting the businesses of my friends. So right now I'm wearing a hoodie that says Eat Clean Bro. So these meals have been what I have been eating when my parents would be going away, and lately just ordering them because it's greatly portioned, freshly made, it's not frozen. And one of my good friends at the gym, shout out to my girl Kayla. She runs this company, and I'm out here supporting her. So I'm rocking the hoodie that I got. It's amazing. Their food is amazing. If you guys have an Eat Clean Bro in your area, you should 100% try them. Enjoy their food. Food I would definitely recommend. I would highly try their Dirty Boy OG and their Moroccan shrimp. It's phenomenal. There's your plug right there. And Merritt, shout out to your hat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Wearing my Bill Russell 6 champion hat from last year's City Edition jersey that the Celtics had. I just felt like it was a good hat to wear tonight since we're going to go to the game this weekend. So
yes, didn't we buy that together when we went to Boston?
Yeah. We found it in the Nike store. We're like, oh shoot, look at that.
Yeah.
But of course, we wouldn't be the man in the musings if we didn't talk about West Virginia for 2 minutes.
We got to. Yeah.
We won football wise. We won against UCF down in Florida. I think the best story from line of that whole game was Garrett Green's grandmother never let his dad play football, right? She's a school teacher down in Miami. She's never been to one of Garrett's football games ever. Watched it on TV, never been to one in person. She took Friday off, drove up from Miami to UCF, and watched him play his game against UCF for the first time ever. And the game ball that he's holding at the press conference, he gave it to his grandma.
That is actually pretty incredible.
Classic
Shout out to Garrett Green for those 3 touchdowns too. Pretty incredible. But I think we would be remiss if we did not talk about the effing interception, if you get my drift, sir.
B.D. Bishop is the best corner, or one of the best corners in college football right now.
Yeah.
That interception, that's not giving up on a play.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm cool with that. That was amazing. A decent test this weekend with BYU coming into town. It is a night game, and it's been flexed to Fox, so it's not Fox Sport 1. It is going to be on primetime television.
It's also senior night too.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It feels like it's so early.
Well, I think they kind of planned that just in case if the season went awry earlier.
That's true.
So honestly, I'm excited that they're going to be a night game. Hopefully they rock out. It'd be awesome because it's funny because it's a Saturday that I'm off, but we're watching the Celtics. So maybe if anything, at some point we could stop and watch the game for a little bit before we head inside to Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, the game starts at 7. Barclay, and
our game is at 8. We go to the bar right next door. So
we'll go to B-Dubs or something, and I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're 2 30-something men, and New York City, nothing could go wrong, right?
Yeah.
A lot could go wrong.
Yes, a lot could go wrong.
Basketball, not so good. Highlights right now. A cook had health issues during the George Mason game on, I think it was Friday night. He was rushed to Ruby Memorial. Apparently, he was clutching his chest. I haven't
He collapsed on the floor.
Yeah, he walked. They were all in a huddle, and he walked away from the huddle and collapsed like in the tunnel area. Is what
Yeah.
I read, but there's no other updates. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. I number one, it's just I just hope he's okay because I did hear some other podcasts that they said that it was part of the reason why Georgetown didn't clear him because they're worried about his health issues. Just like you can only just pray for a kid to just make sure that he's good, that he can do what he loves. But you gotta take something like that super seriously. Hopefully, some tests come back and they come back negative. But we'll stay tuned.
They did say that he was responsive at the hospital and everything, so that's good. And then if just kick someone while they're down. We talked about it last week with Raekwon Battle not to be able to play, but that sounds like it might be turned over, hopefully quicker than we all expect. But our starting point guard is suspended.
I mean, the one lucky thing about it is that at least it's within the non-conference that we may not need him for the majority of those games.
That's very true. That's true.
So try to look at it a little more half glass full. Just because I think like some of the teams I saw, it's like I forgot.
Hold on, pulling up the schedule.
Pull up the schedule. Count the first 9 games.
All right. So did he play against George Mason?
Well, George Mason doesn't count because that was a
charity expedition.
Yeah.
So Missouri State, Monmouth, Jacksonville State, then this is where they go to Fort Myers for the tip-off. They play SMU. They'll play either Virginia or Wisconsin. And then they play Belmar. So that's what? 1, 2,
Bellarmine.
3, 4. Oh, yeah. Bellarmine. 4, 5, 6. He will miss. This pisses me off. He will miss the St. John's game. He then misses the Pitt game. He then misses the Drexel game. The simple fact he's missing the Pitt game just sucks.
Because I still think we can beat Pitt without him.
So. I think so too. His first game back will be the Basketball Hall of Fame Classic game, the day before my son is due, December 16th. So he will be able to play then. He does get to travel and practice with the team and do all that. He just cannot play. So you said
that's better news than I've heard. I thought he was really not allowed to be around the team. So that's actually
no.
A good thing.
He's allowed to travel, allowed to do everything. He just can't play. He can sit on the bench. So
bless up to that.
But he does come back before we play any Big 12 games. So that is, like you said, Kevin, that is a good thing there too. So, but just it sucks. We need those guys because this team is very thin.
Can I make a statement real fast? In my personal opinion, so I know that we have Josh Eilert as this interim coach for right now. In my opinion, I don't care what their record goes through. In my opinion, this coaching staff deserves another year.
100%. I agree with you.
Think about everything. Look what we've just gone through. From starting from May 7th to where we are right now. What has happened? It's not fair to that coaching staff to judge a performance off that. I personally feel you have to give them all another year and book that. That's your Instagram statement right there. Boom.
I like it. Well, Kevin, that's what I've got. I want to let these people listen to the three of us with you, me, and Joe Mac talk. So how about you wrap us up out of here so they can enjoy it?
Yeah, so normally I go through all the intros and outros and everything, but honestly, really just want you guys, make sure you guys tune into the Mush Squad podcast that will release this week. It's going to be a hell of a time. It's going to be a hell of an episode. Shout out to Joe Mack and Squad for letting us on. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Peace, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, back again, another episode of the Mush Squad. But as my good friend DJ Khaled says, this is the remix. This is a Mush Squad crossover with my good friends Kevin and Merritt from the Manly Musings podcast. Fellas, good evening. How we doing today?
We're doing good. I know I'm happy to be here. Kevin, what about you?
You know, it is truly an honor. What is going on, world? Kevin out here with your Manly Mush Squad musings out here today. And I can't wait. I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Joe, for having us on. And let's get to it.
Of course, it's the Manly Mushings, episode 1. This is episode 80 of all time of the Mush Squad. But nonetheless, let's do some quick introductions, fellas. We know you as Merritt and Kevin from the Manly Musings podcast. Why the name, and what does Manly Musings mean?
Kevin, that's yours. You came up with that name, so that is all you, buddy.
I did come up with the name. So the way the story starts is Mary and I, we've known each other since we graduated college together at West Virginia University.
Yeah, long time.
Long time. We were sport management majors over there. And I want to say, was it 2021 when we got the call from Doc about being on a part of what he liked to call his hot Zoom room for his class. So basically, Mary and I, this is the first time we saw each other in years via virtual Zoom, as we were guests for our old professor. He was retiring and wanted to bring on former students to his class to talk about their careers and their life after West Virginia. We talked after that, and then Merritt hit me up around like a couple of weeks later, like, hey, I was thinking about starting a podcast, sports podcast. What do you think? I'm like, yo, that would be super cool. And he's like, we got to think of a name. And where Manly Musings comes from is when you went to a basketball game, a West Virginia basketball game, when you're in the student section, there's a little paper that the student committee hands out that was called the Mountaineer Musings. So basically that paper is like a random sheet of paper. It said who they're playing, and it said like some weird random fact. So like, for example, say we were playing like, Syracuse, and there's somebody with like, he wore number 3. They tell you on the paper, hey, whenever number 3 touches the ball, scream out Ethel. That's his grandma's name. So then, every time, they give you a little fun fact on those sheets and little trash talking that you can give. So I just thought about like musings, and I was like, Manly Musings. Merritt, what do you think? And he was like, oh, that sounds kind of fun.
Rings. It definitely rings. I think it's more attractive than Mush Squad, but that's another conversation for another day. So you guys met at West Virginia. Big fans of the Pitt Panthers, I hear. Is that correct?
Oh, God. I swear I see anybody in like that type of like gold and blue, and I'm like, I hate it. It's the worst.
If you want to get us off this podcast real quick, just keep saying stuff like that. That'll get Kevin and I to leave.
what I will say is I'm a UConn Huskies basketball fan. The defending, reigning national champion UConn Huskies. And back when Kemba Walker was tearing up MSG in the Big East tournament, one of my favorite moments, one of my favorite memories as a fan is when he did that crossover on that Predator-looking guy from Pittsburgh.
McGee
down, hit the game winner, 5 games in 5 days to win the number 1 seed out of the Big East. Big fan of the UConn Huskies, but we'll dive into that a couple weeks from now when we talk college hoops. For now, Merritt, Kevin, what we do here on the Mush Squad podcast is break down and recap the previous week in the NFL. So in this case, week 8, and we do it the good, the bad, the ugly style. So what I'll do is I got bullet points for the good, bullet points for the bad, bullet points for the ugly, run down some stats, run down some things, jump in whenever you feel comfortable to do so. Give your 2 cents. I'm listening with my ears wide open. Starting with the good NFL Week 8 recap. Some recognizable quarterbacks had some really huge games this week, fellas. Dak Prescott, 25 of 31, 304 yards and 4 touchdowns in the 43-20 victory for the Cowboys over the LA Rams. Derek Carr, 19 of 27, 310 and 2 touchdowns. Saints win over the Colts, 38-27. Joe Burrow, smoking that Joe Burrow pack, 28 of 32 for 287, 3 touchdowns. Bengals, a huge road win over the 49ers, 31-17. Justin Herbert throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns over the Bears with a 30-13 win for the Chargers. My question to you guys, of the above players and their statistic lines, which is the most impressive, and who do you guys have your eyes on for the rest of the season when it comes to these recognizable quarterbacks?
I think it's easy for me. No offense to 3 out of these 4 quarterbacks, they didn't play defense. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. It seems like the Bengals have finally figured out that they're the Bengals and that they're really good at football. But it was really nice to see them come out and just attack a team for once. And then Joe Burrow just throwing it all over the place. Those touchdown catches were great. Yeah, that's my thought. Kevin, what about you?
For me, I think the most impressive out of these ones definitely has to go to Joe Burrow. Just the fact that 49ers, that defense is really, really scary with who they have, and the fact that he was able to get 3 touchdowns on them and they only allowed 17 points to the Niners. Yeah. That is extremely, solid for a team like that. But for me, the guy that I have my eye on, I'm going with my man with the Chargers, Mr. Justin Herbert. I'm keeping my eye out on him. I know right now he's got a bad finger, but he's been slinging it right now. Like you said, Joe, 3 touchdowns, 31 for 40, 298 yards, almost 300, beating up on the Bears. But I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert, and I just feel like he's just slowly blossoming. I think we just had some injuries on the side. Now that these guys are back healthy, I think the Chargers are going to be a team to look out for if they can just get some wins on the board.
And you have a healthy Austin Eckler back. He makes the plays anytime the ball's in his hands. Huge game for the Chargers this week, visiting the Jets Monday Night Football at MetLife Stadium. I work at MetLife Stadium. Kevin, I know you dabble at MetLife Stadium. I'll be there Monday night. Do I get to see you Monday night?
Monday night, unfortunately, I can't. I have conflicting work schedules. But okay. Honestly, it's okay because I'll be honest, I hate working Monday night games. They're just so long, and it's just you don't know what you're going to get. You can either get a really good game or you're going to get a game that's a dumpster fire. And I'm sure we'll talk about dumpster fires of games later on as we go through this segment.
Especially at MetLife Stadium dumpster fire.
Yes.
Merritt, I want to touch on Joe Burrow again real quick with you. Huge game coming up Sunday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills visit the Cincinnati Bengals. As you know, it's a rematch to the Damar Hamlin game from last year. First time the teams are playing each other again since that issue happened in the regular season. Do we think the trend of these Cincinnati Bengals playing really well is going to continue, or the Buffalo Bills also playing really good football right now? Are they going to come in and spoil the Joe Burrow fest?
I don't think they spoil anything. If we look 2 weeks ago when the Patriots beat the Bills, they went right at their defense. And no offense to Buffalo, they're a phenomenal team, but that defense has been wreaked with injuries, and they're not healthy. So I think as long as Joe Burrow's playing the way he did the past few weeks, I don't see it being a crazy good, like a really great game. I think you're going to have your touchdowns and all that, but I think at the end of the day, the Bengals do pull that one out. It is crazy that Damar Hamlin is going to be back in that stadium for the first time in about a year since that incident. I know he hasn't played much this year, which is a good thing. He's played special teams and stuff, but it's got to be an emotional time for him out there.
I will say another huge thing for Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase finally looks like the receiver he's supposed to be. Through 7 games, 60 receptions, 656 yards for 4 touchdowns, 3 of which came in the game last week. Fellas, we talked the good. It's time to talk the bad. NFL Week 8 recap. And another round of injury strikes across the NFL, unfortunately. Leading the way here. One of my favorite players in the NFL ever since that Netflix quarterbacks series came out last year is quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins. Unfortunately, tore his Achilles and is out for the season. Regarding Kirk Cousins, as you guys probably know, his contract is up with the Vikings this season. What does his future hold? Do we think we see him back in the purple and gold this time next year, week 1, if he's healthy enough? Or is he wearing a uniform of another team? Kevin, what do you think?
I'm thinking another team, guys. I just think he is an older quarterback right now. And if you're looking at the Vikings team, they didn't really make moves that they're going to take it to that next level to take the NFC. So I just feel like if I'm Minnesota, you still have a young Justin Jefferson. You still have some young talent. I think that I would possibly try and think about moving on. I just feel like unfortunately with this injury, he kind of made the Vikings decision just a little bit easier, unfortunately. Even though I hate to say it because like you, Joe, I loved watching Kirk on quarterbacks on Netflix, and to see him go down like this, it's really, really sad. But Merritt, your thoughts, sir?
He's in a different uniform next year, sadly. I agree.
Is that uniform a Patriots uniform, Merritt?
It could be. I don't know. That's a good question, especially to see where the season ends with the Patriots. If they're in a top draft pick, you're a top 4 pick.
I take him in Steelers uniform too, because we got a lot of quarterback problems there.
Yeah,
I take him in some black and yellow also.
Your quarterback is just as bad as my quarterback, or might be a little worse. I don't know.
Speaking of the Steelers quarterback, Kenny Pickett ruled out for last week's game with a rib injury. He faces the Titans tonight on Thursday Night Football. I don't have the update here. Let me see if I can pull it up to see if Pickett's playing.
I haven't heard anything.
Haven't heard anything. Yeah, same here.
Let me see. Let's take a look. Kenny Pickett.
Good old Kenny Pickett. Jersey guy.
Is to play tonight.
He's a Pittsburgh guy, Kevin. He's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's a Jersey guy.
I thought he was from Pittsburgh.
Ocean Township High School.
Yep.
University of Pittsburgh. And then to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is playing tonight. So the good old matchup of Will Levis versus Kenny Pickett as quarterbacks tonight.
Can we add Will Levis to the good list? Because that was phenomenal football from him on Sunday.
Loved seeing it. His connections with DeAndre Hopkins for 3 touchdowns. Best game Hopkins has had in close to 3 years. So shout out Will Levis. Other injuries, Matt Stafford, UCL ligament strain in his right thumb. That looked absolutely, utterly disgusting when we saw his thumb get stuck in a face mask. He's questionable for week 9. Tyrod Taylor, I was there in person on last Sunday. We'll dive into that in a moment. But Tyrod Taylor considered week to week following his rib injury. He literally got folded in half during the game. Merritt, Patriots wide receiver Kendrick Bourne, torn ACL, another injury on the Patriots roster, another bad luck injury. Does this mean, I'm assuming this means a lot for this, lack of a better term, abysmal offense for this Patriots?
Yeah, that's your leading receiver right there. And I don't know if Devontae Parker's going to play at all because I think he left with a concussion. No offense, Joe, but that was a really bad hit. That one laid out. And you watch it later on in the game, you're going, wait, we got a flag for a hit, but that play like 5 plays ago wasn't a flag. Nonetheless, it is a bad thing for the Patriots, but it also could be good because you can see what Jalen Reagor can still do. You'll see what Pop Douglas can do a little bit more. Maybe Kenyon Booty will actually be out on the field. That'd be kind of nice. So we'll see.
Parker wasn't spotted at practice. Mike Reese of ESPN.com reports with the concussion protocol, it is unlikely he's able to suit up on Sunday. We talked the good, we talked the bad of NFL Week 8 recap. Now, everybody's favorite portion of the recap is the ugly. And Kevin, you and I have some really good first-person insight on this one because we were both unfortunately there. And luckily for us, we got paid to be there, unlike the 82,500 fans who were there. But we got to see the New York Football Giants take on the New York Jets, and both of those offenses. Jets did come back and beat the Giants 13-10 in overtime in a legitimate monsoon at MetLife Stadium. My socks are still wet from last Sunday. Giants, between Tyrod Taylor and everyone's favorite Italian, Tommy DeVito, went 6 of 14 at quarterback for a total of 7 yards passing. Zach Wilson for the Jets, 240 yards passing, most of it on a screen pass to Breece Hall. I think that went for 55 or 60 yards.
It did.
2 late missed field goals for the New York Football Giants in the fourth. Jets hit one at the buzzer to tie it up, eventually stop the Giants on offense in overtime, drive right down the field, hit the field goal. Kev, my eyes are still bleeding, feet still pruny from all that rain. Is this the worst game you've ever seen in person at MetLife?
Oh man, this game, just everything about it. It was cloudy, then it started raining, it's wet. You have both New York football teams that are absolutely abysmal. It's funny, I remember watching it. I watched the final play when Zach Wilson got sacked by Kayvon Thibodeau, and you had like all the Giant fans are like, yeah, this is our stadium. This is our stadium. Get out, you stupid green people. And then all of a sudden, I see the 50-yard pass to Breece Hall, and I'm like, they're about to tie this damn game up. And then literally couldn't make it up.
Nope.
The Jets tie it. The Giants can't convert on anything, and the Jets end up winning. And I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in a long time. I would probably rate this game top 5 most miserable games to be at.
Yeah.
Butt fumble. I was there for the butt fumble.
I was there for the butt fumble.
That's number 1 for sure. Yeah. I remember there was one snowy game with the Packers and Giants that was just miserable to be at. And I think there's a couple of rainy games that when I was there for the last couple of years where they were just miserable. The offenses were putrid, and it's just I'm thankful that I was getting paid to be in those areas instead of having to be in there to watch them, because Lord only knows, there is the worst. But yeah, I would definitely rank it as top 5 this past weekend.
Merritt, any very disgusting sporting events you've ever been to?
So I would have to say any game where West Virginia decides not to show up has been disgusting and awful. I haven't been to anything horrible. I watched this game a little bit because it was like one of like 4:00 games that was still on. How the hell this was on national television, and the simple fact that we have to watch the Jets play the Raiders on Monday night.
Yep.
You mean Chargers?
Chargers. Thank you, Chargers.
Yep, back to back.
Yeah, everything that's just horrible.
The Jets were on all these games prime time, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, because of the Rodgers effect. He goes down play number 4. You can't change the schedule around too much, unfortunately. But yeah,
flex him out.
It was gross. It was gross. I didn't have a lot of fun in the rain, I'll tell you that. Sometimes when the game is good, maybe you get like Adrian Peterson rushing for 200 yards. Maybe you get a huge Patriots comeback versus the Jets. Maybe you
got that one.
Tom Brady throw in a fade when he's with the Bucks, the same game Antonio Brown walks off. That's a fun game. This was the opposite of that. So I'm glad I'm done with it, and I'm never going to try and relive it. But nonetheless, upcoming week 9, I'm looking for a game from each of you that you're looking forward to seeing, watching, taking in, and why. Merritt, go first.
So it's a toss-up here for me. I want to say the Patriots and the Commanders game, but that just is going to be a horrible game no matter what. It's 2 bad offenses and now really shitty defense for the Commanders. I got to agree with what you've got, Joe Mack. I honestly think the Tyreek Hill rematch against the Chiefs is going to be huge. I think the Dolphins have been over there since Monday. The Chiefs fly out tonight. So it'll be a great game. I really think it's going to be one of those things to see. Is Miami a real contender?
Yep.
If they
Kevin,
can't
what do you think?
beat them,
sorry. Go for it, Merritt.
If they can't beat them, I don't think they're they're legit.
Yeah. Kevin, what are you thinking?
So you know what? When you presented this question to us, I was looking at the games, and I'm looking at some of these games, and there's some decent ones. Cowboys, Eagles, and then you got some ones I really don't even care about, like the Giants and Raiders. Chargers and Jets. I think Justin Herbert, I think, is just gonna light them up. Other than the Dolphins and Chiefs, the one game I actually am interested in looking at is the one that's on tonight with my Pittsburgh Steelers and the Titans. I want to know if Will Levis truly is real. I want to know maybe that the 4-touchdown performance was a fluke. The Steelers, I mean, yes, they're an iffy offense, and I know Minka is out tonight, but I want to know, is Will Levis going to be really truly able to sling that ball around and put it on like a better defense? Because who did he play again?
Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons. So let's see them play somebody a little bit stronger and see if he can repeat that. So let's see if Will Levis is the real deal.
The Dallas-Philadelphia matchup piques my interest. I'd like to see Dallas get one back over Philly to kind of tie them up and see what's going on with that in the division. Buffalo, Cincinnati, we hit on before. But boys, 9:30 Sunday morning, I'm going to have my big old breakfast. I'm going to sit up on the couch, and I'm watching the Miami Dolphins take on the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a measuring stick to see if they can actually hang with the cream of the crop in the AFC. They're getting all this bad rap that all the teams they're beating this year are under 500, horrible teams, bad coaches, bad players, and the teams that they actually play, like the Bills they lost to, they're not keeping up with them. This is the measuring stick. If we can hang with the big boys and at least make it competitive, let alone win against the Chiefs, I'm excited. You have the best combination in the league. I'm biased, but Tua to Tyreek right now. He's setting records left and right. Tyreek is the fastest to 1,000 yards receiving in NFL history. I'm just excited to watch this game. I'm hoping for a high scoring, no injuries, and an entertaining ball game nonetheless. Fellas, let's jump into the NBA. Huge trade happened some point overnight this week. James Harden is a member of the Los Angeles Clippers, traded from the 76ers. 76ers sent Harden, PJ Tucker, Philippe Petrusev to the Clippers for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 first round, 2 second-round picks, and another first-round pick from OKC. Starting lineup for the Clippers now has Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George on the same team. I know you guys are NBA fans. Merritt, I believe you're a Celtics guy. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So not necessarily penetrating the Eastern Conference with this conversation right now, but I bet you're happy that the 76ers are kind of selling out right now, I guess, and getting rid of pieces.
Honestly, I was never scared of the 76ers. There's no reason to be. I just find it funny that they gave up all that for Harden when you could have just said, all right, you want to play, you need to play here and play out your year, and just make his life miserable. Granted, that makes the team horrible and not fun to watch, but I don't think this is going to be a fun team to watch either. The Clippers are not going to be a team worth it at the end.
And it's a team sport. Remind me if I'm wrong here. College basketball, high school basketball, the National Basketball Association, there's one basketball on the field, on the court. Sorry.
Yeah.
These 4 guys all need their touches, need their shots. I know there was something like Westbrook, Kawhi, and PG combined for like 97 points last night. Harden was on the bench, didn't play yet. Kevin, how are all these guys going to get their shots up with one basketball and 4 all-stars?
And that is my thoughts exactly. How do we get the ball to these guys? Are they going to all of a sudden be willing to give up the ball? You have 4 guys that need the ball in their hands at all times to be effective. And now all of a sudden they're going to change their games because they're all on the Clippers. In my opinion, they gave up a whole lot of nothing to just get out in the second round or first round again. So
or not make it.
Or barely make the play in. Like this team does not scare me. Like I could see a strong and healthy Denver Nuggets just eat this team alive in 4 games, beat them by a minimum 15 points each. Will this team be fun to watch during the regular season? Oh, hell yeah. I mean, Harden back together with Westbrook for a third time, Kawhi and Paul George, if they actually, play, like there will be a fun team to watch, but I don't think that's a championship winning team for sure.
You got to keep Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on the court. They have to stay healthy first and foremost.
For
but
sure.
They're not the defensive superstars they were years ago.
Mm-hmm.
With all these injuries, missing games, getting out of shape, not being able to play an 82-game season, this team, they played the Lakers last night. They lost 130-125 in overtime. You got 97 points out of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Russell Westbrook, and you lost to the Lakers, who started Cam Reddish. Okay? So, yes, it's LeBron, who's potentially one of the greatest of all time. Yes, it's Anthony Davis, but Cam Reddish started for you and played 37 minutes, and you lost to a team that started Cam Reddish. So, needless to say, this defense has to step it up for the Clippers. Continuing the NBA talk, fellas, leading scorers through the first week and a half, 2 weeks thus far. Luka Doncic scoring 39 points a game. That's not too bad, right? Donovan Mitchell, 35 points a game. Steph Curry, 33.5 points a game. Cam Thomas for the Brooklyn Nets, 33 points a game. And De'Aaron Swiper Fox in Sacramento, 31.3. Any of these names surprise you? Because I'll tell you right now, Cam Thomas sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, I would never have guessed Cam Thomas to average anything that high. I would have gone with Mikal Bridges would be their leading scorer, but Cam Thomas, he's a good player. So
yeah, but like this was happening last year too. Like when that whole trade happened and when like KD and all of them are out, like all of a sudden Cam Thomas is out here averaging like 25 plus points a game.
Yeah.
And he's doing it off the bench. He's not even like starting. And I'm like, bro, what is your deal? And I remember they put him in a starting lineup, then they took him out because it wasn't working out and he wasn't scoring as much numbers. Now he's just this firepower off the bench. So, hey, let's go, Cam Thomas. I'm out here.
He's a beast, and I enjoy watching it. The Nets, maybe not a playoff team this year, but they're fun to watch in glimpses. I'm not going to hate on them.
Hey, we're going to be there Saturday, so we'll watch them.
Whoa! Breaking news here. You guys are heading to the Barclays?
Yeah.
Yes.
What are we doing, Kev?
Are we out here?
Yes. Are we out here?
I'm a fan.
Yes. So this will be, I don't know what number this will be, number 13 or 14. We'll figure it out when we look at the video. But we have a couple, we wanted to redo this one because we went to the Nets Celtics last year and we figured we'd go ahead and do it all over again.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I'll be tuning in.
Fun.
I'm excited to watch that. Fellas, I was supposed to do this. Go ahead. What's up?
It's also the start of the in-season tournament.
Nice. So you'll get those really funky jerseys on. And the court designs? I know they're changing up some court designs for in-season tournaments, which is pretty cool. So it's exciting.
Yes, something different. I'm with it.
I don't like the courts, but that's me.
That's okay. That's all right.
That's all right. It don't really matter anyway.
I was supposed to do this segment with JG, but obviously he's been on a hiatus from the Mush Squad. Wishing him well for his police academy. He's down in South Carolina at Police Academy now, so wishing him well. Fellas, I'm looking for predictions for the following awards for the NBA season. Kind of a little cheat code. We're about 5 or 6 games in already for some teams, but we're looking MVP, 6th man of the year, rookie of the year, most improved player, coach of the year, defensive player of the year, who's going to be in the finals. I said finals winner, but you can give me the matchup and the finals MVP. Let's start with MVP. For mine, I'm going nowhere else than the leading scorer in the league right now, 39 points a game, Luka Doncic. I think it's his year. What do you think, Kevin?
Luka is one of my top picks right now. It's just, man, 39 points a game. I mean, if he keeps that going, then I can, I can definitely see that. But, part of them, when they vote for MVP, they're looking for W's in the column too.
Yeah.
So I think with probably just because of the fact that they're going to get more wins with Mr. Dame Dollar on the team. Give me Giannis. Give me Giannis for MVP this year. I feel like they're going to just keep flopping it between him and the Joker every year because those two are just absolutely spectacular.
Yep. Merritt, who you got for MVP?
I would say Jokic because I like watching him play and it's fun to see a center actually do stuff again. But I'm going to go hometown boy on this one. I'm going to go with Tatum. I honestly think it's Tatum's year to finally shine. I think having, someone like Damian Lillard on your team, like that Giannis gets, does help him, but also hinders him because he's not going to be the dominant force like he has been all the time. So
we already saw the first game Dame suited up. I think he dropped 39, and Giannis was close to a triple double, but didn't have anywhere near the amount of points.
And they're 2-2, and they lost to a really bad Hawks team.
Yeah, so we'll
and
see.
Barely beat the Heat, so it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Merritt, coming back to you for sixth man of the year.
This one's hard because I don't even know who comes off the bench for majority of these teams anymore. Like, I gotta look real quick. Kevin, do you know?
Yeah, well, you already know who I'm going with because I thought he should have had it last year. I'm going with my guy, number 5 on the Knicks, Emmanuel Quickly, to get that Sixth Man of the Year award, to prove that he should have got it over Brogdon. But of course, I'm a bitter Knicks fan, so yeah, I think this is the year that he takes it. He's outstanding. When he's hot, he's hot. And myself and Merritt were in Boston when he went absolutely crazy in that game. So I'm gonna go with IQ.
IQ.
I think I'm gonna go old school. I forgot that he's coming off the bench nowadays. He's gonna be very impactful depending on how he fits on this team. But Chris Paul. I'll throw it out there. He for the first time in 19 years. He's coming off the bench. And I forgot about that until all of a sudden you were talking about Quickly. And I'm like, wait, they just announced he's coming off the bench. So, yeah, I 100% would go with him.
Okay. I like this guy. He's on the 76ers. He's going to be getting a lot more playing time now. Kelly Oubre, he was the sixth man to start the season, but with the Harden trade and other people coming in and out, he might technically be a starter now, but he was doing a really good job defending Giannis in that matchup of the first game of the year between the Bucks and the Sixers. And he's got a rifle in the corner 3. Like, he has all systems go. When he's got the ball in his hand, he's got an automatic green light, in my opinion. So I like Kelly Oubre, but I might disqualify myself because he might be a starter now based off of that Harden trade.
It's very
Rookie
true.
of the year. Are we going Wembanyama across the board here?
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to.
It's really hard not to. Part of me really wants to go with Scoot because I think he's gonna, his first game was rough.
Right.
You expect rookies to fall and falter. But Victor's got so much hype, and I don't think you can get past that hype that he has unless he gets hurt somehow.
I like. Go ahead, Kevin. Go.
I think the one thing we just have to. I think it's Wemby's to lose, in my opinion.
That's the saying right there.
It's his to lose. The one person that I'm gonna keep an eye out for is he's not necessarily a rookie, but it's technically his rookie year now. I would keep an eye out for Chet Holmgren as long as he doesn't keep getting dunked on.
Yeah.
But like if he can continue to just grow into that little frame of his, and if the Thunder, if anybody listens to the Manly Moves podcast a couple weeks back, we talked about the Thunder a lot and how we think they could be an up and coming team. So I would keep an eye out for Chet to possibly contend Wemby if Wemby seems to falter like midway through the year.
I love the Chet Holmgren pick, Kev. I love what the OKC Thunder are doing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you have Josh Giddey, now a healthy Chet Holmgren. I love what they're doing, but like you said moments ago, I think it's Victor Wembanyama's to lose. So I'm going Wemby. I think you guys are in agreement on that, but we're going to keep our eye on Chet for this one as well, and Scoot Henderson up in the Blazers there. Most improved players. Merritt?
improved.
Most improved.
I think I'm gonna go hometown just because I know the team better than any other team out there. I think Derek White. He kind of you saw him come off the bench last year a couple of times, and in the run that in the playoffs, you saw him just go off every game. He started off very strong so far. I think he was our leading scorer against the Knicks. And he's been leading scorer or been averaging almost a double-double each night. And of course, he's the best blocking guard in the NBA. So I'll give him that one for sure.
I like the pick because I think he's going to get a ton more playing time, even though with the addition of Drew Holiday. But Drew's more of like that defensive point guard, shooting guard, hybrid guard, whatever you want to call it. When you have the ability of Derek White, whether he's starting or coming off the bench, he's averaging 15.8 points per game already per this season. That's behind Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis. So he's fourth on the team in scoring, and he's getting practically 30 minutes a game. So I like to pick for Derek White. That's kind of sneaky. A little hometown love, but also sneaky pick.
Yeah.
I'm cheating on this one before I turn it to Kevin for his pick for most improved. I'm cheating because it happened after the Harden trade. I'm going to go Tyrese Maxey for the Sixers. I think he's clearly the number 2 right now, the Joel Embiid, and there's no one in his way besides Joel Embiid. I think Tyrese Maxey is one hell of a player, and I think he's going to be having a great season as long as he can stay healthy and on the court. So most improved for me, Tyrese Maxey. Kev?
I like that one.
So for like what I've kind of noticed over the years with these kind of like most improved player awards is like this player has to ascend to a different level. So it's like it's not normally like a guy that's like averaging like 10 points here and then like goes up a couple points. He ascends to another level along with their team. So a guy that I think of that can happen because it started to happen towards the end of last season, which I'm surprised Merritt didn't pick this person. I think it's Brooklyn's Mikal Bridges. I think that is one person that could definitely ascend. He can turn himself from just a standard starter like he was and now ascend to being that all-star player. If he gets that, I think he could win Rookie of the Year. And two people I would keep an eye out because I was trying to do some research on this one. You know, we talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Think about Josh Giddey. If they continue to ascend, I can see him being a player in this. And along with a guy, you know, he's going to get a lot more playing time from the Trailblazers. I think his first name is it Shadon Sharp? Does that name sound familiar?
Yep.
Shadon Sharp. I mean, that guy, he was putting up numbers for the Blazers now, but now that Lillard is gone and you have Scoot and it's a young team, look at someone like that who was slowly starting to ascend his game, and now that he kind of gets a little more freedom to do what he wants, I'll put his name in the mix as well. But for my original pick, I'm staying with Bridges in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Sharp leads the Blazers points per game, 20.2. So not a bad pick there either, Kevin. Good eyes on that one. Coach of the Year, I'm going Adrian Griffin for the Bucks. I think the addition of Dame Lillard, again, is another cheat code for this guy because he took this job before Dame Lillard was a Milwaukee Buck. And I just think this core team that they have there, you have both Brook and Robin Lopez are defensive wizards. Brook can pull up from half court and shoot the three if they needed to. You have Giannis, who's the best Swiss Army knife in the NBA, in my opinion, plays all 5 positions, can block, can shoot, can steal, can rebound, the whole 9. And I think Dame Lillard is a game changer for them. And that true 40-point per game outburst without an issue, anytime he's got the ball in his hand, he's a weapon. So Adrian Griffin, it's kind of hinting towards my next few questions when it comes to finals winner, finals MVP and stuff. But Adrian Griffin, coach of the Bucks, is my pick for coach of the year. Kevin, where are you leaning on this one?
Ooh, so the one thing I think about is how they voted coach of the year last year when they chose Mike Brown when he ended the Kings playoff drought. So a team that I'm looking at right now, and one of our guys, shout out to our guy Cyrus Johnson Jr. for making this pick because he predicted them to make the playoffs next year to be a surprise team. Let's go with Willie Green and the Pelicans. If
Ooh.
they beat my Knicks handily the other night, and if that team stays healthy and they ascend, I feel like that's an easy plug in place for a coach of the year, Willie Green.
I like it. I like it. Merritt, coach of the year?
Well, let's just put it this way. If they repeat, then it's easy to make that decision. I'm going to go. I can't remember his damn name for the life of me. Is Mike Malone.
Yeah.
You know, easy. I know it's the easy pick because of his team, but if they go and make that run again and they can potentially repeat, the only way you.
There's no reason you can't give it to him if he leads his team. Yes, you have Jokic. Yes, you have Jamal Murray. But without him on this team, I don't think they make it to the finals last year. So, yeah, I like it. I like to pick Mike Malone. 3 more. Defensive player of the year. Kevin, defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year. I mean, Jaren Jackson out Jr., a really well-deserving player to take that one last year. Defensive player of the year, sometimes it gets secretly nobody really wants to talks about them because they're the dirty guys doing what they need to. I'm gonna throw a random one out here. Reason being is because this gentleman is on one of my fantasy basketball teams and recently got me over 150 points. Give me Utah Jazz center Walker Kessler.
Okay, that is from left field.
Right? I know. And he is a double-double machine. He's been getting crazy blocks here and there. He's doing his job, what he's supposed to do. And if he can continue to keep it up, averaging these double-doubles right now or close to it, I'd say he'd make a case.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's a rebounding machine. So I like where your head's on in this one. Merritt, what do you got for me?
God, that's hard. Why do we always pick the hard ones? And I haven't paid much attention to much NBA this year so far. Mainly due to other things in my life going on. But I think I'm going to take the easy way out. Kevin made this pick. I think it was during our episode where I wasn't on, but probably going to go with Giannis. He's an easy pick. If he doesn't win it, in my opinion, Bam shows why he should be defensive player of the year for the past 2 or 3 years and hasn't gotten that love yet. So either one of those two, I think will win it at the end of the year.
Yeah, I like the Bam pick. I know he had a huge game earlier this week. Let me pull the stats up. He's averaging 22.3, just over 9 rebounds a game, a block and a half a game. So he's making all the right moves, and he's besides Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, he's that third option. Kevin Love's not what he used to be. He's coming off the bench and with either a wheelchair or with a walker. So I think it's Bam Adebayo's year his year to win it. I had Bam as one of my picks, and the other one I have is Anthony Davis. He has interview last week where he said he has all intentions to play all 82 games this year. I doubt it's going to happen, Mr. Davis, but if it does, he should be a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. He's that solidifying that 5 spot for the Lakers. He rebounds and blocks pretty much anything that comes to his face. And he did a pretty decent job, albeit they got swept last year in the Western Conference Finals on Jokic, because Jokic only had, I think, 1 triple-double in the 4 games. So let me go with AD for Defensive Player of the Year. Coach, we did Defensive Player of the Year. We did down to the finals. And I kind of hinted at it before. My finals winner, I have the Milwaukee Bucks beating the Phoenix Suns in the finals.
Ooh, you think the Phoenix Suns will actually do it?
I think they'll finally do it. I think they got rid of Chris Paul. It's the Chris Paul curse. He doesn't get to nor plays in finals. And I think they're going to do it. So they're not going to win it, but they'll get to the finals. And
then they'll blow it all up again.
And then my finals MVP, Dame Lillard. I think he's going to drop buckets. So
I like that.
That's a good one.
Suns and Dame Lillard as my MVP. Kevin, what do you got?
So on our podcast, I projected that I think I'm going to go with the Bucks to go up against Denver. And I don't remember who I picked, but honestly, because I love Giannis. All right, American, you want to let me know what I picked before I make a foolish decision?
A fool of yourself?
Yeah.
No contradicting here on the Manly Mushings.
Hell no. What the heck? Why does it keep pulling up the same one? Hold on. I gotta find it.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Season 2. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not what I needed you to do. Holy fudge. How far down is this?
It's all the way down. Did you find it?
Yes. Hold on.
That'd be hilarious if I beat you to it.
No. Okay. I got you. You said Denver.
You know what? I will say, yeah, Denver. That was also before I started realizing that, like, I love Dame and Giannis. Dang. You know what? I'll keep it Denver. To repeat. You know, I can't contradict my stuff. So, Merritt, thank you for fact checking.
Finals MVP Jokic, I'm assuming.
Finals MVP, I'm gonna go with Jokic because he's just gonna take it and just toss it like he doesn't even care. Give it away, be like whatever. And then
horses or something.
Exactly. Yes, those are that's my finals MVP. That's my guys.
Merritt, finals matchup winner and MVP.
Finals matchup is
Celtics
Nuggets for sure. I'm going to sound like such a homer if I keep going this direction, but
how are you a fan if you're not a homer? That's the thing I always try to argue.
This team, it just looks and feels different watching them. Now, anyone could get hurt and it could just ruin everything. But if they all stay healthy and we make it through the season, I think it's the Celtics in 7 over the Nuggets. And I gonna throw a twist.
Oh, twist.
I still think that Jokic would win the MVP.
Whoa.
Only reason is
if it goes 7, it's up in the air right there, you know?
And the only reason for that is how much he controls the game when he has a good game.
Yeah.
And granted, Tatum, Brown, and all of them are great. They're phenomenal basketball players. And they're all very good at their own individual spot. Jokic for a center it's just unbelievable to watch.
He passed LeBron James last night in all-time triple doubles with 109. LeBron's played 13 more seasons than he has.
Dang.
Crazy.
That's nuts.
All right, so fine. I'm going to run down just finals, matchups, winners, and MVPs for the listening audience.
Beautiful.
I'm going with Bucks over Suns with Dame Lillard as the MVP. Kevin, you have the Nuggets over the Bucks with Jokic as the MVP. And Merritt, Celtics over the Nuggets in 7 with Jokic as the MVP. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put together a nice little graphic, put it up on the Mush Squad Podcast Instagram.
Love
because
it.
Everybody knows once it's on the internet, it will never go away.
That's right.
That ends the rundown on my end, fellas. Anything else the Musings boys want to talk about before we hit the high road and go watch some Thursday night football?
Ooh. Kevin, you got anything?
I know this is like completely off the wall. Can we like talk about quickly of how in LA that the Colorado football players had their jewelry stolen from them?
Wild.
Wild. Absolutely wild. How? How can that even be allowed? How can that even happen? Where are the cameras? Why haven't we found these people?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? And I know people are thinking, Kevin, why aren't you thinking this question? How do these players even have these chains at all? But at the same time, I don't even take that into consideration because if you think about it, you're a Division I football athlete. You know, your locker room is your sanctuary. That's your time away from the people. You're with your team, your family, in a sense. That's supposed to be your sacred and your safe spot. And for someone to rob that of them, I think it's ridiculous.
Not only that, but like any place of work I've ever been in, anytime someone finds something or something goes missing, or, you know, in this situation, something gets stolen, that's a big deal. And, you know, the Rose Bowl is like one of the most like quintessential, like the places like the Rose Bowl make college football into things closer to a religion than a sport, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such it's a sanctuary. I think you mentioned the word sanctuary before. Like the Rose Bowl is such an important stadium, arena, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to college football. Like historical things have happened in this stadium. And unfortunately, this is also history too, because it's such a violation of these players' like personal space and having things stolen. You're going to hear people that are like, well, why do they have a $90,000 chain anyway? Well, the NIL grants these players the ability to make money. And when they're making money as a dumb college student, whether you're 19, 20, 21, you get to spend that money however the hell you want because your meals are paid for, your tuition's paid for, your books are paid for, all through your football scholarship. So the NIL money is play money to these college students. So they're going to buy a chain. And when it comes to the popularity of Dion in prime time and these players, Shadur Sanderson, Travis Hunter, of course they're going to have the quote unquote bling bling. That's the part of the persona. They're the flashy watch, the sunglasses on the sideline. It's just, regardless of what anybody thinks of the players, prime, the coach, the team, you just can't do something like this. This is absolutely ridiculous.
I agree. Merritt,
Totally
any thoughts?
No, I think it's, like you guys said, it's a violation of what these kids are there for. How security wasn't aware of what was happening, if they were involved, whatever it was. It's just not a good look. But at the same time, you can't always fault who did it because the kids on the Colorado team put themselves in that situation as well. It's a double-edged sword. We all know you're flaunting your jewelry. We all know you're flaunting your stuff. Someone is going to at one point risk it for the biscuit, right? So yep. I am not faulting them for wearing what they're wearing or anything. Let them do them. But at the same time, it's one of those situations that
protect your stuff.
Double-edged sword.
Lock your lockers, fellas. Lock your lockers. You know what I mean?
Word.
Let's end it on a high note, fellas.
Yes.
I need you guys to plug your shows, plug social media. Tell me what you guys have going on in the near future for the Manly Musings.
Is that me?
Do you want me to tell us what we're doing in the near future and you want to close this out?
Sure. Go ahead.
All right. So like we mentioned earlier, we will be at the Brooklyn Nets game versus Celtics this Saturday for our We Out Here section. I believe finally the T1D Slam We Out Here is out 3 months later.
Amazing.
But we're going into season 3. You know, this is going to be our second episode. You know, we're so happy to have Joe allow us to join this one tonight. And we'll see you guys. What else we got going down the pipeline? We're going to have some guests for sure. So we'll work on that.
Yeah. Season 3, just another continuing to elevate. And of course, you know, thank you, Joe, for having us on. to pitch where we're at. For those of you guys that want to watch us, we're on YouTube at our page, the Manly Musings Podcast. I'm very active on Instagram. You can follow the Instagram at the Manly Musings Pod. You can follow Merritt's Instagram at Merritt_P. He's fun to follow. He goes to watch cows and then sing country roads in barns, which is awesome.
I'm never
And then
down the cow
you
thing.
can follow me at my Instagram at KQuava624. I recently started a fun little real deal with the Filibusters, your Filipino Star Bucksters, which has been a ritual that I've done with my buddies Jay and Joss from my gym. And we go and just pretty much have a question of the day. They answer it. We answer it together and let them know what our Starbucks order is. So make sure you guys tune into that. Give us some likes. Let us know in the comments that you're listening. And that's pretty much what I got. I don't know if you guys have seen the Filibusters. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts.
Huge fan.
I love it. 100% love it.
I need more matcha tea on that though. Less coffee, more matcha.
Yeah, I love the matcha. So anybody out there listening to the Mush Squad podcast, if you have any other ideas to add with matcha, let a brother know. Put it in the comments because I'm definitely out here on the matcha train trying to keep it cool.
Before I cut you guys out and we head home for the night, Kevin, Merritt, we got to get another WWE wrestling podcast, my friends. Let's do another WWE themed one. A lot of good things happen in the world of professional wrestling right now. So
I saw something. I sent it to Kevin earlier. Ric Flair's back.
Yes,
he was on AEW last week as potential partner to a tag team match with Sting in the near future.
Yes,
which is something I don't think I would have ever said after the year of 1996. But here we are in the year of our Lord 2023, and Ric Flair and Sting are still wrestling. So
yes, keep an eye out. We'll probably have one closer to the Royal Rumble to get it going. Speaking of wrestle, I'll announce the news on here. Some breaking news. Your boy is going to WrestleMania in Philly.
Wow.
Yes.
You are definitely doing a We Out Here for that one.
Yes. So the plan is, I'll let you guys know the plan. So the plan is, if we can make it happen, we're going to also try and get a night at WrestleCon and get to go try and visit some people there.
Nice.
And then try to go and hit up Philly. And we only bought tickets for night one because everyone knows WrestleMania night one is the way better night. And then we'll be able to watch from the comfort of our homes for night two because that's a lot of wrestling in a big 48-hour frame. And as much of a wrestling mark as I am, it's a lot. And wrestling fans are also a lot. So stay tuned for that. But little breaking news for the Mush Squad podcast.
I'm going to have to work. The Mush Squad podcast is going to have to hire you as its wrestling correspondent for that weekend. Get some live videos in for that one. So stay tuned.
Let me know.
I'm so in on that. Fellas, I truly appreciate you guys filling in for my boy JG. He's
JG
doing the damn thing for us, and pretty soon he'll be able to protect us down in South Carolina as a police officer. So super happy about that. Merritt, Kevin, I truly appreciate you guys coming on the Mush Squad podcast. This is the first of many crossovers coming to a podcast streaming service near you. So truly appreciate you guys for your time, the energy, and obvious knowledge you guys have on all things in the world of sports. When it comes to the Mush Squad podcast, you can find us here on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you have a potato and you put it into the oven, I'm pretty sure you can stream us on that as well. We're everywhere you can stream us. You can also check us out on Instagram at the Mush Squad Podcast. One big word. That's where we do most of our work. And we have some fun things coming when it comes to our college football Washington Huskies podcast.
Bow
the
down.
Bow Down podcast.
Let's go.
A lot of fun things coming there. Some interviews with some players and coaching staff members in the near future. So super excited about that. But again, Merritt, Kevin, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the Mush Squad this week.
Thank you,
Thank
Joe.
you.
We'd love to be back.